All right, guys, I got your watch list coming in at April 16th, 2019, and this is going to be an exciting one for earnings. I'm really excited. I hope you guys are. We have a lot of new plays. I'm going to go over some specific plays, so make sure you guys are subscribed with the alerts so you do not miss any of the plays. And also for this earnings season, we're going to be documenting all of them. So I have a few option trades and even plays for tomorrow, but tomorrow is going to be exciting. We're going to wake up right away to earnings right off the bat, bank stocks, United Health. So we're going to talk about those a little bit. Those are going to be plays right off the bat, and I'm just going to talk straight around the plays. I guess I've already talked about it right off the morning. We are going to get Bank of America, so be on the lookout for that. I'm excited for that because it's going to give us an insight into the banking sector more or less. Goldman and Citi today were mixed. Wells Fargo did good and went down, but what I like today, I think it came from Citi, and this is what I'm worried about with Bank of America. I'm going to look to play that in the morning. I know we'll get volatility off that, but Citi, it looked like it didn't move too much. Then it moved up and down, and it made these big moves, and this looked like a play. Then it turned into a total just nothing after that. So it ended up higher. And again, Citi will also be a play too, though. So do not forget about this, because after we get the bank earnings from Bank of America, don't forget about Citi, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan. And again, JP Morgan hit a low. Goldman Sachs made a move as well today with Wells Fargo. So those are all going to be important to watch. Good luck to all the people who played the Bank of America. I know some of you guys YOLO'd there at close. So I wish you the best of luck. And oh yes, I can't forget you guys. Here is the thing. We are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open, so it's in the comments below. Go to youtube.com/thestockmarket anytime during market. We're streaming live, so go there. But even pre-market, we're going over the watch list. So here's what you also need to do. I need you guys to post your watch list below. Post it in the comments. This is where we have it all. You can post what you're watching for earnings, what you're going to play in the morning. I go over these in the morning on stream. I go to this video and go over the comments, so do that. And also drop a thumbs up if you like these videos, and it'll make sure you do not miss them again. But watch those, watch Cities. The next thing in the morning, watch Citi, I meant Bank of America, but the next thing in the morning is going to be Johnson & Johnson. So that's going to have an effect on the value stocks. Watch its competitors, and that's what I've been saying right off the bat. This is why this is starting to get a little bit exciting now. Little by little, each industry is coming, because this earnings, watch the competitors now. So watch Johnson & Johnson, go watch Procter & Gamble, and see how some of these, conglomerate and kind of value stocks go. And I was saying watch that, and there's another, value stocks are important. You guys have been watching that Home Depot play. That's going to come up, and we're going to talk about that. But watch that. But they're reporting in the morning, so let's see how they do. Again, watch for any surprises. Then we have United Airlines is after hours. Oh, I think the other one, pre-market. Again, I'm going over the ones pre-market for now. United Health, that's going to be in the morning, and that's going to be a play. I came in with the earnings play, but we're going to see what happens. It may not do anything at all. Again, I wouldn't be too surprised. It was pricing in something decent, but don't let these healthcare stocks fool you. It was kind of just doing its thing the last few days, but we will see. But I think these are all going to set up opportunities. And here's the thing, you guys, if you're playing options, the weekly contracts, be careful this week. Friday, the market is closed, so you're buying contracts with like 2 or 3 days left of time now. So that's good and bad. There's going to be less time, but there's also going to be that wall caving in to bring the contracts down. So waiting for after earnings, and luckily these ones in the morning we're going to see, but don't get too crazy of expectations, especially on these slow movers. But watch out for that. I don't know. I don't think Progressive's tomorrow morning. I think that's Tuesday morning, but watch out for that. Those are all the ones pre-market, and now post-market, we are going to get United Airlines, and I think that's a good one because I believe a few hours ago, like Lufthansa, a German airline, they reported their earnings, and they reported large fuel costs. So, and even gas has been going up. People have been complaining about that. People said there's like a boycott on it. I don't know what it is, but I thought that was interesting. But take a look at United, and again, we saw Dow, Delta. Let's see how this affects the airlines in general with how transports have been, and transports were down yesterday. So watch those. That's going to be important. That's after hours. Next after hours, we're going to have IBM. And now I haven't really gone through this. I will look tomorrow what the options are pricing at. We could even probably scan through it in this video, but I'm going to take a look at this most likely tomorrow. IBM's a good one. Sometimes it surprises and moves a lot. Sometimes it doesn't, but that's going to be after hours. That's going to get one. And lastly, but definitely not least, we got the big boy, Netflix. So this is going to be first out of these growth tech stocks. So watch that. I like that. I think it's going to be very interesting, but as far as estimates and what I think is going to happen, I'm going to go over that after this. I'm going to show you guys the puts and calls I have on it and kind of how I want to go forward, even playing this when we get to the options segment part of this at the end. But again, I'm covering all the plays to look at right off the bat. And again, there's going to be a lot. So come to the stream, source that information. You guys, we could all help each other out. We got a lot of eyeballs here. So watch that. Those are all the earnings plays. And that is now strictly earnings. Now, it doesn't change the fact there's still a lot of stuff going on. So I'm going to start right off the bat with the main themes I was talking about in the last videos and everything. You know, financial stocks are one thing because we're getting those earnings and now we're seeing that. But now watch out for the value stocks. Those are the ones that are going to be taking a lead role again as the market kind of hovers around here and with earnings and Johnson & Johnson earnings in the morning. So take a look at that. But right off the bat, Home Depot, that's going to come up. We'll glance over at those contracts again during the segment part. But for some of you guys, take a look at that. It's at an interesting spot. But with that comes Starbucks. And then another one, even with outside reasoning, Walmart. Walmart has been on a tear the last few days. And now Jim Cramer actually brought this up on his show tonight. And he kind of gave it a mini pump. He said he actually said he loves it. He likes it a lot. And he's the only one giving it like good press. So we'll see if it gets a Jim Cramer pump or even a Johnson & Johnson pump, or again, seeing what the market does. And if you guys didn't watch the recap, you could go watch that, what I posted. But overall, even for the market, I'm expecting kind of a slow melt up in earnings. It obviously depends how the surprises come in, if there is any surprises, and how the market reacts towards the current expectations and now the actual results that start to come out. So that's going to be interesting. But watch the value stocks, Walmart, and lastly, McDonald's. And I showed you guys Home Depot. I said we got to keep an eye on that. That's about to break that 205, but again, we'll bring that up. But McDonald's as well, it has kind of been moving a little weird. So that's interesting. And then also, again, even in line with United Health and their earnings in the morning, I'd watch Biogen. They're a biotech kind of related. You could also watch Region as well, but more directly related. You could watch Anthem, ANTM. That's another healthcare stock, as well as Humana and another one, CI Cigna. And they're actually doing a little bit better. But watch those, and I want to see how that takes a role, as well as the small caps and transports. But we're going to see that after hours. So those are those main plays. Another, actually a different play I had that was kind of weird and a little surprising, but I think I'm going to watch it tomorrow. I think it could have an interesting play. But Roku, so again, Roku has been doing its thing. It's also been moving kind of in tandem with Netflix, but watch that. I want to see if it has a relation towards a value. And then also, even you watch this stock as well, to AT&T. AT&T just had tonight. Again, a lot kind of happened after hours. So again, we'll see what happens tomorrow morning. But AT&T just had Hulu buy back its stake. So Hulu bought back like a 10 or 11% stake that AT&T owned for like $15 billion or something, a pretty good chunk of change. So I'm wondering if that is going to affect AT&T or not, because AT&T shareholders might actually like that. That means AT&T is getting paid, depending on what they bought it for and how that was affecting the goodwill of that company. It could instantly affect the balance sheets. The algos might just start buying it up. So that's going to be something to watch. But also the same thing is Roku. That could have an effect on Roku's balance sheet in general and just the value of it if, depending, being similar kind of assets. So I thought that was interesting again. So even the streaming space in general, there's going to be a lot of active moves. So watch that. Watch Square and PayPal as well. I think I always bring up Square when I bring that into, with Roku. I think they kind of move volatile, similar as well. But PayPal as well. The financial sector, again, we're going to get those reports. XLF was even a laggard today, I believe. But PayPal is, the options are coming down a little bit. I like that. It's a good one, and they've been up. And that even reminds me of another one to keep your eyes on for, and I don't really have an option on these ones just yet. I think we might maybe we should just start going to the option chain now. But Disney, they went up today. They held it surprisingly. They almost kind of traded as a carbon copy of what they did Friday. They kept buying it up, but watch that. I want to get some of the contracts when they start to get cheaper again, but that will be important. But let us get to the option chain. And actually, the last company I'll talk about is NVIDIA. I feel like this has to be discussed before I get to some of the contracts I want to show you for earnings and getting ready for some of that. But watch out for NVIDIA and AMD. This was a big drop. Some people are saying NVIDIA puts. I don't know. You've seen how it's moved. This is the first time in a pretty decent amount of time it's moved. Even before that, it was kind of like weirdly stable and weirdly going up. But when we even bring up kind of a multiple day chart, and you kind of see where it's at. It's interesting. Nvidia still has extra time and it's working. Why I'm saying it's interesting, because it may not have to come right back down and set this big range. I'm scared of the last two. This is, it's a kind of a good pivot point. It's an opportunity, and it's what scares me is because after these kind of days have gone by, Nvidia even last week hasn't moved too much. This could be an opportunity to make a really big move, or it could do nothing and be a total cuck. So watch out for that, and watch out, when playing Nvidia in general. All I'm saying is be careful with the chip makers, even AMD, all those. They just don't have to move per se. But let us get into the option chain now and look at some specific options. I'll start first and foremost with what you guys love, Netflix. I like Netflix. I think this is going to be a great one. If you didn't, go watch it. I've been promoting it. I've been shilling it all day to you guys, even on streaming yesterday. But I need you guys to do this. It's helpful. We use Netflix as an example, but I posted a video yesterday. It's on this channel and the live streaming channel. It's saying best time to buy stock before earnings. Go check that out. I go what to look for when talking about earnings, the first three things. And if you guys come to me with that, we could help each other out a lot. It can be very good, especially when we're on live on the stream. But Netflix has an interesting situation, both from guidance. The company guided higher, but not what analysts expected coming into last quarter. The range is pretty tight. It seems like people aren't really expecting much, but it could be good. They're talking the price cuts. They said they're going to roll it out between 1 and 2. I think the only issue is going to be foreign exchange stuff for Netflix, but there might not be a move. So I wanted to straddle. I was only going to go one way. Pretty much I bought puts 2 days ago on Netflix. I got some May puts. Let me double check. I got them. Yeah, I think I got the May puts, but those aren't the ones I really had in mind, because I think the puts could be a play, and I think the downside, I think it's kind of more towards the downside. So this is where Netflix could really surprise if they actually end up doing good. And I think, this has been my theory all day with, kind of how we're coming in here. People have been so bearish the last 6 months and even the companies itself, and the companies have taken their hit through it. Thankfully they've kind of held up, and that's the thing. It's literally trading at equilibrium, the exact price almost it was at last earnings. So it could surprise some people, and it's not priced too much. So I like the options, and this is what I'm saying for even just to understand kind of taking advantage of where we're at right now. Netflix can go up or down, so that's why I like some of the puts, but I'm going out to June, and this was something I liked and that I picked up today. I think it's super far out of the money, but just any of these longer-term June contracts. So I like to watch these June 500s and then also the June 465s. But all of these, if you see on the time frame, they're almost as cheap as they can be. They're super capitulated, but I got the 500s. I like those, and I'm also going to be eyeing the, like I said, the 480s. Man, why is my option chain? But these are super far out of the money. And again, the implied volatility is not low. The implied volatility is not high, 35% on Netflix. Netflix hasn't moved too much, again, in the last few months. So that's what's factoring it in. And even on earnings, it really hasn't had too big of an earnings pop. So if the surprise is big, that hopefully that could be good. And what's setting it up for a big surprise is the low expectations. But that's very, very far out of the money. Now, here's the issue. When you buy that far out of the money, there's a reason that contract's cheap. It has low probability. The only thing with it is time, but 68 days isn't that much time. But again, in this market, it kind of is, especially if all the earnings season is good. But take advantage of the time. But even though the implied volatility is low, by buying a contract that far out of the money, you are still implying a big move to break even. So even though the break even and implied move on Netflix, and again, I believe it stayed the same, and I told somebody to monitor this on stream, but I've actually been doing it myself, I guess, just showing you guys, but it's been about a 4% move has been priced in kind of the whole day. So it's at 349, 56? So that'd be $2.05. Yeah, about $12 again. About a $12 move is getting priced in. So yeah, about 4% again. A little bit more, but that's being expected to move by the end of this week. But again, I like the June. It gives the times, but when you're that far out of the money, so even closer to the June, again, closer to the money on Junes aren't bad, but you just got to be careful of the contracts. If it is too close, if it's kind of just like holding its value compared to then, you see, and you're going those, I think is, I'm going to blame the in the money factor, but you see how those contracts are, these are still holding their value because, well, they're still expected to do stuff. But really, and this is where you could watch if you guys want to play. Again, I'm calling out those cheaper ones as the big gainers. If you want to look at more statistically and viably ones, again, I do not like them playing you have the earnings gamble. And that's the thing. You guys got to remember, all earnings are a gamble. So watch that video because some seasons earnings is good. Some seasons it's bad to play. Netflix could be one of those. Again, even this earnings season in general. But if you want to play some of those, options, if you want to play a bigger budget, I don't recommend dropping, $900 on these contracts. I think 400 is kind of a sweet spot. But now you see these contracts are starting to just get cheaper than where they were around January as you go further and further out of the money, because again, further and further out of the money and kind of how these contracts appreciated, it lowers the likelihood. But that's most ideal. So that's why, you get to that 300 spot. They're kind of more ideal. Like I like them better around here. They're not as expensive as they were, the ones closer to the money. So there's that. Watch Netflix. That's my first option play. UNH, and now they're going to report in the morning. So this one I think is a good one to watch. I called this one at close, but the June 21st 290. Again, this one's further out the money, but it's not that big of a stretch. Again, percentage-wise, that's a $60 move, so that's like a 30% move, which is very, very large. Again, and on a stock like this with their market cap, pretty big for 68 days, but it is going to have the earnings catalyst. But what I do like on any of these plays, earnings has the potential for the catalyst, so I'm kind of playing the odds. I like the time. I like the cheap factor. The thing was, it's just like Disney. Disney, if you're getting big moves like Disney, so it's better to play the stocks more with events. So UNH may not be the best in this case, but when you're getting some of this extra time, why I'm liking it is it's allowing you to take advantage if there's a big move. But now if there's not that big of a move, even if UNH goes up, these won't gain value. But watch those and keep that in mind. I think that's going to be great, even trading that off the morning. And then lastly, but not least, the contract we've been watching, these contracts are already up. The April 18th. Remember, we got these last week, but we got the 205s on Home Depot. Man, this option chain is so ugly. I don't know why it does that. But we got these 205s. We got these for about 30, 40 cents now. Those are the remaining ones that we're holding. But keep an eye on these. Again, if Home Depot does rip, some people are calling for 210, but the next level is 207. So if it breaks there, makes a move, that is going to be the place to watch, and that is going to be where the moves are at. But those are the only ones. I can't wait, in the morning. I think there's going to be a lot of plays. Honestly, you guys, do not miss it. I need you to post your watch list. I need you in the morning. There's going to be a lot of plays, man. We're going to see. Hopefully, we're going to see off earnings. That's what I'm assuming. If not, I'm sure we'll learn a lot. But get ready for the morning, guys. Get those watch lists. Like the video. Subscribe if you're new. And get ready. See you in the morning. Let's go.